Hello, gang. Happy Monday. Leanne here, your Honolulu personal trainer. I am excited because I have a guest, one of my clients, Amor. She was an online client, a in person, and then she moved to Maryland, and now she's a virtual client with my Level Up Lean Muscle Building customized online training program, and she's also a Moderation 365 client. So,
Oops. Let me flip
where she
this. There we go. I flipped it.
is this your first live?
Yep. Yes, this is my first live.
Nice. You are getting all the things Instagram acclimated.
Yep. I'm like, oops. Everybody can see the candy on my desk here.
Hey, I told them that you were a Moderation 365 client, so that is exactly candy on your desk is exactly a-okay. Let me just start my timer here. So I just introduced, telling the people that may be viewing or watching later a little bit of our history that we used to work out together, and then now you're working out with me virtually in Level Up, and also in the Moderation 365 practice. So I'm just gonna do a quick bio from your post that you had posted.
Oh, okay.
On kind of what I'm just pulling up my notes here. So I know you had posted a picture, and you had said, I was once over 300 pounds and I couldn't run if my life depended on it. I was teased and ridiculed for my weight most of my life. I was 180 pounds in third grade, but with God's grace, supportive folks, I lost the weight. And then after a few marathons, triathlons, awesome, and defining life moments, you were called to put on the uniform to serve the men and women and family members of the armed forces as a chaplain. So that is just an amazing story. So I wanted to bring you on because as a trainer who's worked with a lot of different ladies, and the first thing is they always want to lose weight, and kind of like, they have this mindset that they have to go on this really extreme diet and extreme exercise plan in order to lose the weight. And so I kind of have evolved my own personal training philosophy with my clients in terms of trying to get them out of that dieting mindset. So I wanted to bring you on and first kind of like get your experience, because kudos to you. You lost all that weight and you did it naturally. Yes?
Yeah, I did.
Through diet and exercise, through food.
Yeah, diet, exercise, and I hired a trainer back in the days. So that's the importance of having somebody there guide you and be your cheerleader. And accountability too. It's just accountability as well.
Right. So let's step back then. Do you have like one defining moment where you were like, I really am not comfortable, or I want to make a change? Or was it sort of like a slow build up?
Well, when I was, I can't remember. I think when I started college, my dad had I think it was a quadruple bypass. And so that was one thing. I'm like, I really don't want to be in that lifestyle. I need to do something. I was in college, and I just graduated high school, and I was already in college. I don't know, what to do. And I needed to do a makeover myself. I wasn't happy with who I was. And, I had the academics and whatever, I did good in school and whatnot, but that the fitness and taking care of my body was never a priority. And then it took me to get out to college and experience things. And that's when I'm like, you know what? I need to do something. I need to do something because I don't want to die by I'm 30.
That is amazing because, it doesn't, that's what I call like your real why on wanting the change, right? Your real why. And that's kind of like in new clients that I haven't worked with before, we kind of go through this process because they hire me and they're like, what is your goal, right? That's my first question. Everyone goes, I want to lose weight. And then I do this thing called the 5 whys. Well, why do you want to lose weight? And then they give me an answer. And then, well, why do you want to do this? And it's just a process to help drill down to that real important why. Because you know that it's super easy. If you just really wanted to lose weight just for vanity or to fit into a certain size, that would only hold you over for so long. right? But when
Is that where you're going to find your happiness? Is that where you're going to find your joy, being skinny? Because I've met people who've gone to that skinny, to that extreme, but they're still not happy.
right. And that's the case. I think they feel, a lot of people, women especially, feel when if they lose weight, they'll find happiness. And it's really just the opposite. By going through all this stuff that they do, they really end up unhappier because of the methods they do it. But that is so amazing, because you like had a life firsthand experience of, like you said, seeing your dad with this quadruple bypass, and you just kind of hitting home like, I don't want to die, I want to be healthy. So in that sense, so that was something that you came on to yourself then, like you didn't have any kind of family pressure to make a change, or
well, it was just, I grew up, predominantly Filipino local family, and it was like, here, eat this, but you got to lose weight. Here, have the lemon meringue pie, but you got to lose weight. It was like, what do you want? It was just like, it was that you have that constant badgering of, oh, you'll be really pretty if you lose weight. Oh, you need to lose weight for something like that, your health and whatnot. And teacher, even like elementary school teachers telling you that. And it was to a point where I think I had shut down so much where, was that my phone? Oh, let's unplug that. Hold on. Yeah. It's funny. My landline never rings, and it's ringing.
So you want to give rings live?
It's usually just decoration, but I grew up in that household where they're like, here, eat that, here, this, and they've always drilled in your head, you would be so much more pretty, if you were skinnier. You would be so much happier if you were skinnier. So in my family, it was thinness or being smaller that brought happiness.
Right.
And so I had really shut down for a while, and I'd gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and I always felt that it was my fault. It wasn't, there was some kind of emotions tied into that. But it took a long time, and some really, really talking out, really, really good influences around me to be like, no, let's take that back, because you're not going to lose weight. You're not going to gain the happiness because of these people that are like jabbering in your brain, but because you want to do it for yourself. Right. And I had gotten to that point.
I think that's so important, that the note that we talk a lot about it in Moderation 365, about old food narratives, right? Like most of our food behavior and sometimes our exercise behavior, we can kind of tie into past childhood stuff, right? And just like the Filipino culture here in Hawaii, it's also part of the Hawaiian culture that food is love, and that how many times oh, eat, we love you, why are you not eating? It's almost like super disrespectful to not eat. Also that, if you are normal size, sometimes they feel like, oh, you're too skinny, here, eat up. And then what I'm hearing, what you're saying is that although your family came from a, food is love, they also were very vocal about not wanting you to get big or not wanting you to gain weight. So it is like a catch-22, right? When you're young, and it's sort of like this weird cycle where I love you and I show you love through eating and food, but hey, don't eat too much food. We love you, eat food, but don't eat too much food, because they tie in being heavy or being a certain weight with, whatever it is. And we've talked through that, right? That it's like other people throwing stuff onto you, their stuff, their food and exercise stuff. Yeah. But as a child, when it's coming from like your parents and really important, influential people in your life, you really take that to heart, right? Yeah. So that's why it's really amazing that you kind of were able to at least, I know you've dealt with that a lot and you still deal with that, but you were able to at least kind of come to a point in your life where you said, no, I'm going to do this shit for me because I have plans. So the first step was what? Did you try to go at it yourself, or did you already think like, this is such a big mountain?
I mean, growing up, I got enrolled into those weight loss programs through my pediatrician and all that kind of stuff. I did try to do alone. Now, they're back and forth. I've tried, the extreme dieting, limiting my calories, that kind of thing. But it wasn't till I joined the gym. And then I was like, you know what? I can't do this by myself because I have no idea what to do. I've been sedentary my whole life. I've been eating chicken katsu and all kinds of great stuff my whole life. And I'm like, I don't know what healthy eating is. I don't know what healthy eating is. I was so clueless. I'm like, you know what? It was an investment in myself to hire a trainer, to have somebody help me with my meal plan. And it was, I think for me, that was the best decision ever because it's somebody there to guide you, help you accountable and be there for you, to tell you what to do. That's me. I'm like, I just tell me what to do. I don't want to overthink anything or nothing. Just tell me what to do. So that's how I had to approach it.
So you decided pretty right away when you were decided that, look, I don't want to die by the time I'm 30. I want to go all in. It was a pretty quick decision for you to reach out to an expert for help.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, because I think a lot of ladies, they just want to go at it themselves. They think that if they can just do it. But let's pedal back, because I know that a lot.
Remember, I was morbidly obese.
Right,
I mean, it's just like, I can't do it by myself.
That's great, because there's a lot of people, it's so hard. I had a cousin, a first cousin, pass away at age 14 due to morbid obesity.
Wow.
He was 14. Over 500 pounds, and he got sick, and he hid it for a while. And then by the time he really told his parents that he was having symptoms, he went septic. And then his heart just couldn't handle, they said, the weight. And that was really sad, because like you said, people are a lot in that. When you get into that kind of situation, there's a lot of people out there who feel ashamed, and they feel very fearful, and there's a lot of anxiety. I mean, how many times, why do we have these commercials like Planet Fitness now, or they're like no judgment zone, right? And you see all these. So I'm just amazed that, did you have any fear about joining a gym or going into a gym, or about being judged, or were you just like, I could get too absolutely?
You know what? I've been judged my whole life. I really didn't care. I got to the point where I really don't care. And it took me, and it was just like, I don't think there was, the fear of going into the gym was more like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's what the fear is. That's why I got the trainer, because I don't want to look stupid doing something else that I didn't know what to do. So that for myself, there wasn't fear in that.
Great. Okay, so let's talk about now. You hire a trainer, and is it like you meet with, like, is it how it is now, like where you walk in and they kind of pair you with a trainer based upon your application, or were you able to choose who you like? Like, did you see all the pictures on the wall and you're like, oh, that lady looks nice, or did you know you wanted a female?
Yeah, somebody recommended her to me. It was one of the guys there had recommended her, because I just said, this is what I want. This is just what I want to do, is get healthy. And he had recommended her, and I'd been with her. Yeah, and I can't even remember who the guy in the front was. I think Serenos.
Yeah, series, yeah.
So I guess this was like almost 20, like 15 years ago. Gosh, and so like he just said, hey, I would recommend this person. Okay, and then it worked out good.
Do you remember her name by chance?
Terry. Her name was Terry. I can't remember her last name.
So then,
Terry from Texas.
Terry from Texas. If you're watching, you work with Amor in Hawaii. So then with her, she put you on a program like that experience. Now, what do you feel now looking back? Would you feel it was a balanced plan for you? Do you feel like it was more rigid, but that's what you needed to get into gear?
It was balanced. It was good. It was balanced. It was good. And then they had like and I liked it because you would come in and weigh in, and then you would have whatever that thing you put on your arm that monitors your activity and all that. And so I liked that. It was quantifiable. It was something that reminded me what my journey was. And so it was a good stepping stone for me.
So when she gives you your meal plan, as someone who had, you didn't really think about it, right? You come from a history of food is love, and good food is even more love, right?
Yep.
Like I remember even my mom,
extra gravy.
My mom's always like, don't you bring no healthy substitute swap for pumpkin crunch at Thanksgiving. Don't be using the low fat cream cheese. It's just like, they're like, what do you, like, not love us? And you're like, oh my God. But So how is it going from, was it a shock? Like, did you like, man, the food is bland, or was there any food hiccups, or were you like all in already where you're like, no, it was fine?
It was fine for me. I mean, it was for myself, it was okay. Um, I think the hardest thing for me was like saying goodbye to, not goodbye, but not visiting what's that, Boston pizza shop daily. That was the hard part, but you know what? It was okay.
You had to change, you had to pretty much do a 360 on your habits,
Yeah.
right? I want
Yeah.
people to know too that, gang, this is what it
And
comes
here's
down
the thing. I ate what I wanted, but I just didn't eat as much as I wanted, which was a good thing. And, it was just like, I kind of had developed a taste, I wasn't craving the deep fried stuff or the fatty stuff. I wasn't craving that. I wanted something lighter.
Right. Because you're moving, you're fueling your body, and now you're fueling your body for a different purpose, right? You're fueling your body to move. So this is, so in total, how long did you work with Terry from Texas?
About a year.
Okay, nice. And in that time, how much weight did you lose with Terry?
I lost about, with her, I lost about 130.
130 pounds in a year. And that's the thing, gang. Like, look, I would even consider a year fast for that amount of weight, right? A lot of people now in this day of, instant messaging, instant credit, instant coffee, they want everything like we want, even me, right? How many times like now that you're at the microwave and you're like, really, 2 minutes on the microwave, and you're like waiting for it to count down, and you're like, what's going on? Like, we didn't have microwaves before. So 130 pounds in a year is amazing. So as you,
I remember I was like early 20s.
I know age is a factor too. Early 20s, that's fine. Now you're in late 30s, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So then, did you have any like real low points that you just wanted to like give up? Did you have any kind of like that you just wanted to throw the towel?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it was hard, but then I had to find other things to motivate myself. So then I started, and it was Terry. It was interesting because Terry had gotten me into running, running 5Ks and stuff like that. And then I had started through these 5Ks, started meeting these people doing, oh, let's go do this marathon. Oh, let's go do this. I'm like, and then I started building those friendships and these people. And I was just like, hey, peer pressure works. They were right when they were talking, remember when they were saying, hey, watch out for peer pressure. Peer pressure works. And like stuff like that started happening. I started getting more into these types of, running the races. And then I don't know who, I think it was somebody in your spin class, and I started doing your spin class, and I started doing all the classes at 24 Hour Fitness, and then somebody had mentioned doing like a short triathlon. I'm like, oh, that looks like fun. And then I started doing that, and then it's building those relationships, building those things, and it was fun. It kept me out of trouble, I guess. It kept me out of trouble, and it helps me realize how amazing your body can be in doing things like that. Because I've never done stuff like that. Growing up, I didn't play sports. Wait, I did play golf. I just played golf. But that was it. I mean, I didn't do anything that raised my heart rate up where I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. But so that was the first time I did that, and I was hooked.
Right. So and that's important too, gang. Like, when you're going through, I always say, ladies, they get hooked on this mountain of a goal, whether it be lose 30 pounds, lose 15 pounds, and they always focus every day. They jump on the scale and they're like, really not, and then they just think about how far they have to go. And if we keep getting caught up in this, how far I have to go, that is not sustainable. That's just overwhelming, right? But if we make it about little small wins and break down that big, huge goal, and just celebrate everything that we're doing within a day that moves us toward the top of the mountain, that's so much more sustainable. So, but like you said, at the end of the day, it's still hard work and it's still effort. And to think that it's never gonna be difficult, you're never gonna get tired, you're never gonna get frustrated, you're not gonna get overwhelmed, you're not gonna want to give up. That would be incorrect, because it's normal. Is like this, right? It's normal. It's a sort of like an up and down, ebb and flow. But what was really important was, I think you had the self insight, or the insight to be able to like realize, oh, how am I going to keep myself doing this thing every day? So then like you said, Terry got you into running, and then we met through, you started taking
Yeah.
a spin class. So
Yeah.
if you don't know, I'm a longtime spin instructor. I love spinning. That's my jam. I will never be teaching a
I
Zumba
miss your
class.
spin
I'm not a
class.
Zumba.
Can you be on Peloton?
Oh, can you shout out for them? I would love to be a Peloton instructor, okay? I can represent the 808 state for sure.
There you go.
I am like so missing spin classes right now because of COVID, but we met through spin, and like you said, it's just about surrounding yourself with like-minded people, the same energy, find your tribe, right? Which is different. You know, we all have different circles of people we hang around with for different things. So you were introduced to like the running crowd, and then you got into triathlon, and I think that's so common, right? That if we're on a weight loss journey, we tend to adopt these, you know, different types of athletic pursuits to keep us on the hamster wheel. Because at the end of the day, it's like we're on a hamster wheel, right? If we're still trying to, and then it's about now that you've settled into that and you've lost a bunch of weight, right? And now you're living your life and going through all this stuff. What's the hardest thing now when you're looking back? Do you feel it's hardest to maintain the loss, or was it harder to lose the initial weight?
I think it's harder to maintain.
I agree.
For myself, it's hard to maintain. It's so much easier to be complacent. So, you know, it was just, you know, I live in a cold climate. I ain't swimming in water that I have to wear a 7 millimeter wetsuit.
Can you tell our people where you're from? Tell whoever's going to watch this where you're living now.
I live in Maryland. I know it's not that cold compared to other parts of the country, but it's colder than Hawaii.
Yeah,
so I'm just like, I'm not doing that. And, you know, I gotten used to being outside and moving in the cold. But it's just like, it's so much different. It's trying to adapt to that. And I don't have that tribe around me anymore. I used to have that tribe, you know, hey, let's go for a run. Hey, let's go do this or do that. Let's go take a yoga class. The tribe's not there. It's so much harder because the tribe's not there anymore. And it's hard to find that tribe again. And so, I mean, it's still something I struggle from the day, which is why when I was like, oh, yeah, Leanne's doing stuff. This is why I reached out. Because for me, it's been difficult to find that.
I think I want to make a side note for the people watching too. I mean, obviously, you know, it's not only that, not finding your tribe, but you're busy. You know, you have a young teenage son. Well, he just became a teenager. You have a husband. You have, you know, responsibilities. You also give us a quick background on like what you're doing for work, and speak to a little bit of what your profession is now, like what you do full time.
Yeah. So as like Leanne said, I've got a husband, a son, 2 dogs. And then I'm also a pastor of 2 churches here in Queenstown, Maryland. I am also a chaplain with the Maryland Guard. And so the Guard's a little busy nowadays, since COVID, and then also the mess that's happening in the Capitol right now. And so it's being available, being able to support those things, but also maintaining what I do on the full-time side. So it's been difficult. I'm gonna tell you, it's hard. And trying to keep that balance, trying to get the work, you know, trying to get the workout in, and trying not to. And for me, I'm thinking, you know, the one thing I can do and one thing I can control is what I put in my body and what I do with it. And so I'm trying to find the time to eat right, and then also put in that for myself. If I don't move my body, if I don't get in that workout, I feel like crap. And I don't want to feel like crap. So that's the one thing. I can't function in the responsibilities that I have if I don't take care of myself.
That's amazing. That you've come to, those are your non-negotiables, right? I love that statement. That I want to repeat it, what you just said, that you can control what you put into your body and how you move your body. And that's so important. But what I also want us to highlight is that, you know, firsthand, and what I also try to train a lot of my ladies firsthand, is that you can also be, you are your own worst critic, right? We are always beating ourselves up. I was listening to this podcast the other day, Guilt Over Grace, and or Grace Over Guilt. Yeah, sorry, Grace Over Guilt. And she had said something like, you know, women are so amazing at nurturing and taking care of everybody else around them, and doing and saying yes, but when it comes to giving grace to others, but when it comes to ourselves, you know, we beat ourselves up, right? We're not big enough, we're not strong enough, we're not da 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 da. So that is some of the work that we're doing together, because you've had, I think it's you know, we always have to kind of constantly remind ourselves, and that's kind of like where I come in for you in terms of, look at how far you've come, right? So be proud, because you're there. Like you have spoken real honest about me, to where if you feel like you're not doing something extreme exercise wise or extreme food wise, you have this fear that you're going to go back to the original Amor, right? And what I'm telling you is this, Amor, look, we've got what? That was almost 20 years ago since
almost.
Old.
Really hasn't. Yeah, that's.
It doesn't feel like that yet.
Sure, we're only. I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, you're still 25, 8. And I'm still like 20. I don't get it.
We were only 8 when we started. But I like have to remind you that, Amor, look, you have built in a food and fitness lifestyle, even though it's been ebb and flow, right? You have built it into your routine, your habit. If old Amor was going to come back, that would have been a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
They say like the weight loss journey, the diet journey or whatever, you know, people within 5 to 7 years usually gain it right back. So we're double that, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to like not listen to that voice, to compare our 30-something selves with our 20-something selves, and then your post-kid self with your pre-kid self. It's about reminding ladies, and even with me reminding you, that your body is not the same body, right? But the thing is this, have you kept off your weight? Yes. Then we talked about, well, what is maintenance? I had said, let's view maintenance that's anywhere from like 8 to 10 pounds different from like what you think your ideal weight is, right? 8 to 10 pounds. And let's assign a new thought to that, where everybody thinks that, oh, 3 pounds. I have ladies that would be like, oh my God, I'm 3 pounds up on the scale. Yeah, you could like take a shit and lose 3 pounds. You can be naked. You could eat sodium and be 5 pounds up. So if we start just shifting the thought about it, and then we also shift further and go, look, like how you just said, am I moving my body today? Am I nurturing and filling up my body with things that it needs to move well today? And then that is your win, right? So what are your tips, I guess, for people who want to get started but are scared?
I mean, the first tip is just like, one thing is to say you're worth it.
You're worth it.
You're worth it. You are worth it. You are amazing. You are a wonderful creation of God, and you are worth the time and effort that you're going to, and resources that needs to be put into that. 2, if it's, two is just like, I would get it. I certainly think getting a trainer and a cheerleader as a motivator to keep you accountable and to give you a plan. I mean, like, yeah, I can make a plan up myself. I don't know if it's going to work, but I can make stuff up myself. I don't know if it's going to work, but if I have somebody there who knows what they're doing, do it for me, then that would be a good investment, because it won't take as much time as if I, did it myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And again, like you said, give yourself grace. You're going to fall off. You're going to, things are going to get hard, but life is hard. That's how life is. And this journey is exactly what it is. It's a journey. There's going to be ups and downs, hills and valleys, but in the whole aspect of it, you're worth it. It's just, you're so worth it. And you'd be a more productive member of society. You'd be a more productive, person in your family, and you'd be able to do things to the fullness, because you're full. You're full, and because you value yourself that much more.
That's so great. That's so awesome for you to say, and to remind our viewers that you are worth it, right? And that self-care isn't selfish. And that, I think another podcast I was listening to is like, having boundaries and putting yourself as a priority on top of your to-do list. Because of a lot of our ladies, they don't even make it on top of their to-do list, right? Every day. That is like the healthiest form of self-respect that you can have, because you honor, if you're not good, then nobody else around you is going to be good, right?
Absolutely.
But going back to the, like, the dieting and everything, everybody, I always remind my ladies, your results are never going to be as good as that first diet you went on. Your body is like a virgin. It's not used to restricting. It's not used to moving. We throw these things at it, and then bam, you get the results like that, right? So that's why I always try to talk my ladies out of undieting, because that first time you diet, I mean, you never get that back. Kind of like, you know, like when you race triathlon, right? Your first sprint try, that time, like that first try, that experience, you're never going to get that back. Your second one, you're going to be like, oh man, I want to beat my first one. And then your third one, you're going to be like, I got to do faster. You're always going to judge it, right? So same thing with dieting, right? So now we have been talking about a lot and working with Moderation 365 with you, which, gang, if you don't know, Moderation 365 is just a nutrition coaching. It's just a food relationship course that teaches ladies how to eat moderately 24/7, 365. So basically the catch-all is like this. You eat the same on Saturday as you do on Monday. Christmas as you do on a Tuesday. It sounds boring and it's not sexy, but basically it's just this. If we take foods off our bad list, if we just view food as food and we honor our hunger, we honor our energy, and we honor our cravings, that you can pretty much eat what you want whenever you want, as long as it's coming from a mindfulness place, right? So I know when we first started Moderation 365 with you, thank you for being my beta test client, you were kind of like, I don't know, man, that sounds fucking scary. You're like,
it was. What do you mean I can have chocolate? I can have my candy.
And I know it's been a process, as it is. It's, again, gang, this is not an instant thing. It's not a quick fix, right? This is just a teaching and making yourself just realize that this pedestal we put food on is just kind of in our heads. And that when we put these foods on these off-limit lists, or we put these trigger foods on this pedestal, we can't have them in our house, our physiology, our body's biochemistry will literally want that food more. That's why as soon as you go on a diet and you say no sugar for 30 days, no alcohol for 30 days, I mean, the first couple weeks is rough. You like want that thing like 500 times more than you want that thing. So what were your first thoughts when I brought to you, how do you feel about working on Moderation 365?
My first thoughts were like, I mean, I was just like, what do I have to lose? I mean, okay.
Well, that's good.
What do I have to lose? I might as well try it. I've tried everything else.
I love it.
I've tried everything else, and hey, what's another one? And this might, it's just, and I liked it because you were like, it's not extreme. It's a mindset, and it involves thinking. I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay. So it involves my feeling, which was a little tough for me, because I want you to just tell me what to do.
Right. We get stuck in this. We have this old diet history, right? Yeah. We want this. We want very quantifiable, black and white. Tell me meal 1 is this, meal 2 is this. Tell me what the end all be all calories is, how much fat I can have, and just give it to me. And what I try to educate my ladies on, that giving you a meal plan and a diet is like giving a Tums to somebody who has celiac disease, right? And they have an episode, a celiac disease. They have an episode, and it's just like, here, give a Tums. What will that Tums do? The Tums will maybe quiet down their symptoms, but are we getting to the root of the disease? Are we getting to the root of their issue? No, we're just Band-Aid fixing the symptom. Underlying there is still the issue of celiac disease, but we're just saying, here, that's what giving a diet to somebody is like. It's just like, here's a Band-Aid. Here, go follow this diet for 4 weeks, for 12 weeks, eat everything I say, lose a bunch of weight, and then come back. But this is the thing. What after, right? What do we do after? You're gonna follow that meal plan for the rest of your life? You're gonna cut out whatever for the rest of your life? I'm not anti-meal plan either. Like, in very specific instances, there's fine that warrants that. But my goal is this: let's reverse it. Before we get to the part where I'm giving you macros or calories or all this, and we're trying to do all this manipulation, let's start at the foundation, right? the foundation of if your body is your house, we want to build a strong foundation from the ground up, right? And the foundation is the relationship you have with food. How do you view food? Why you view food the way you do? And as you know, over the past 7 weeks that we went through is basically figuring out where your embedded, like hardcore food stuff, where did that come from, right? And a lot, you kind of already knew, but a lot of it came from your childhood, right?
Yeah.
And then to Band-Aid fix that, you tried a bunch of diets, right? A bunch of Band-Aids, a bunch of Tums, right?
Yeah.
And you got some success, but it never stuck, right?
Yeah.
And then you finally were like, okay, I'm going to hire a trainer. I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to do it, right? But then after you do all of that, now you've settled in and you're in balance. Now you're sort of like in the mindset sometimes like you want to go back to that sort of extreme way because you feel like, you want to lose more weight or you want to be closer to whatever number you have on your head, right? And then it's nice that you came from what else do I have to lose? Because I've tried everything, right? Yeah. So now, as you're going through with it, I think what was the biggest insight you received from sort of eating a moderation 365 way?
I like it because it wasn't extreme. They didn't have the extreme, and it even encompasses the things that I like. And then so having the non-negotiables, like my high fiber cereal or like my little smoothie, and then like even my chocolate, things like that were okay. And also even I like I can't remember the way, but the sampling stuff, like I just take a bite of everything.
Sampling, yeah.
Yeah, so that thing, I was just like, you know what, that makes sense. I mean, like, it just makes sense.
And that's the thing. It's just common sense, to be honest.
Yeah, it just makes sense. I'm like, why the heck do I say, no, you can't have that? But if one bite's not going to kill me.
And how much better do you feel after just satisfying your craving and a bite of that thing or two bites of that thing?
You feel a lot better. Like if you don't crave it anymore, because I get irritated and be like, gee, I really would like that, whatever Snickers bar. Yeah. I don't really like Snickers, but let's say Snickers. Like if I don't satisfy that, I'd be thinking about it the whole time.
Exactly, and that's the whole point, gang. So, I'm working on a group coaching for Moderation 365 later this first quarter, and but basically, yes, what Amor is touching upon is it doesn't sound sexy. It's not. It sounds boring, but that doesn't sell billions of dollars in diets and supplements and weight loss ads. When we just tell you basically you eat what you want when you want. And you be in tune with the messages that your body is sending you. And it sounds very simple, but it is actually a work in progress. And over 7 weeks, Amor and I have gone through steps in terms of what are our thoughts about food? Where did those thoughts come from? And then here are tools, Moderation 365 digestible strategies that you can use to start practicing eating this way every day. Like intermittent sampling. Another one, ladies and gentlemen, is DNCs, and that stuff we all learn. But is it a diet where I'm going to give you meals and macros and all? No, Moderation 365 is not a diet. It is a food relationship course, just teaching you to be okay with food. Because so many of us come from a background of sort of disordered eating and disordered exercise. And the last thing you need when you already have some kind of dysmorphia in your head about it is another diet and another meal plan, right? So tell us about, so now you've been settled into Level Up, like I would say since July, August, September, October.
Something like that.
Yeah, like almost 6 months, right? And you're back in the gym. And so what are the biggest perks of having an online virtual trainer, I guess, would you say?
I like it because, one, you bother me every time I don't work out.
I bother you, but it's not
I don't bother you, but you keep me accountable, which is good.
Yes.
Keep me accountable. That's what I need. Is like, oh shoot, because I don't have that accountability in this house here.
Yeah, so
but that's great. And then you give me what, again, like I said, you tell me what to do. And I like that because my time is so precious and valuable that I don't have time to figure out 1 hour. Like I'm in the gym 1 hour, I got to figure out what I got to do and what my goals are. So my goals are, I got to maintain this fitness. I have to get ready for a fitness test. here's my goals. Help me get to my goal in the shortest amount of time. Right. Or at least the in where the time is used wisely, versus I'm just, I'm showing up doing my own thing, and I don't even, this probably might be even counterproductive, so that kind of stuff. I like that. And it's on my own time, and it's flexible, because I get to go, like right now after we're done with here, I'm going to the gym. So to do today's workout. And the whole input, which I'm still working on, inputting it out and just writing it down and everything, that keeps it in my head, and it keeps me engaged, right? Engaged, versus just doing it on my own and not writing it down.
It also gives you that little bit of like quantifiable stuff, when you have to log it, check it off. It kind of feeds that little more organized sort of type A personality that a lot of us have, especially a lot of us coming from like a heavily dieted background or whatever. So Amor is a virtual personal training client of mine now that she's in Maryland. I miss her to not see her face in real life. But so we work on my program called Level Up, gang. So Level Up is strictly a lean muscle building training program for women. And it is my training philosophy to use strength training, progressive strength training, in order to basically empower ladies how to love the skin they're in through lifting heavy shit. That's pretty much it, right? And then everybody has different goals according to what they're doing. But that's a flexible. I like to call it like having a trainer in your back pocket. We talk on instant message. Like Amor said, I bug her on Boxer. Are you checking your Boxer? If I don't get her back, I text her, hello, do you have Boxer on your phone?
I have a new phone, so all my settings are all messed up.
All my ladies on Level Up, my virtual program, they know that they can message me and that we can change things around. We have people with kids that need stuff changed. We have people who get sick that need stuff moved around. We have things, that are coming up. So your particular program is based upon a couple of great goals coming up for you, right? So we program your strength training and do our check-ins according to, like you were talking about. What's your fitness test, right? Coming up in 2022?
2022. So it involves a pull-up, so I got to start working on that.
We're working on that. And what I love about Amor, gang, is this. Amor has been in this long enough to know that it's not quick fix anymore, that we are trying to leave a good amount of solid time, and not only just building up to this one big event, her test, but just really about empowering her and building up her strength to not only do a pull-up for her fitness test, but just to be as strong as she can be, because you like lifting weights. Yes,
I do like lifting. And again, and remember, growing, the history about fitness, thin means you're fit. And so now I'm so happy that there's a change in mentality that strong means you're fit. It's not, being healthy doesn't mean you're 110 pounds and you can do cardio for 2 hours. Right. So, being able to deadlift 250 or being able to bench press your weight, those things are okay for women. 20 years, when I started doing this, women weren't doing that. It wasn't, you had to be like whatever, the whole Jane Fonda Thigh Master thing. Right. And so I'm so glad things are evolving now. We're like, hey, I'm gonna go knock out some push-ups and do some deadlifts.
And I really like, I know there's different views on CrossFit and stuff, but I really attribute a lot of some shift in the body in women being able to be strong and muscular and have a lot of definition is like partially due to the CrossFit community, kind of like making it acceptable. Because even before that, there was the powerlifting community, and people would tend to shy away or wouldn't want females. They're like, oh no, I don't know if I really like that aesthetic. And it wasn't as ever, commercialized as much as, say, like CrossFit, and whether it was money or franchising behind it. But I think the look of a CrossFit competitor, especially female, has just really shifted the narrative in terms of, okay, you don't, like you said, you don't have to be the Kate Moss or the skinny, Jane Fonda type.
There's nothing wrong with that. But then to elevate that up about somebody who can who can lift, you know, who can bench press her weight, her weight, you know.
Right.
I'm just like, you know what, each one is gifted. And you know, I think society has defined women or put women in a box where we kind of stay that way. But now I'm so glad that there's strong, empowered women that are kind of breaking that. So I think, you know, one example, you know, when I was growing up, they called, you know, the modified push. Now they're called modified push-ups,
now
people.
it's not girl
They
push-ups.
are not called girl push-ups. And you know, I share this story where I was talking to someone, they kept the girl push-ups. I'm like, no, they're modified push-ups. They're girl. It's just like they're girl push-ups. I'm like, no, there's all these young girls hearing this that all they can do, that they're only good enough is to do push-ups on their knees. No, they don't have to do push-ups on their knees. So I think it's just trying to break that in our culture.
Yep.
So it's, yeah,
Change
they're called
the
modified push-ups,
narrative.
everybody.
Yeah, it is so awesome. But thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, yeah.
Amor. This was so awesome. The thing, I know we have a few people watching. If you have any questions, just list it in the comment section below for Amor. But I'm gonna have this. Hopefully, we can get it on IGTV. But I'll definitely have the link up in our private group. And gang, if you have questions or know of somebody who is battling an exorbitant amount of weight and they just want to chat and have someone, you know, a real world perspective, I mean, Amor, I'm sure you're free for them to reach out to us and to talk with them and help them navigate it. I mean, Amor has been a great in capacity in terms of coaching and just, I mean, what's better way than when you actually lived it and done it to know, you know, what it takes, right? And other than that, well, thank you so much for coming on. So you're going to get your workout now?
I am. I'm going to go get my workout in.
Go get it. So everybody off on Martin Luther Day today?
Yep, everybody's off.
So you had to drive an hour and a half to go to work?
No, I drive, well, because we have soldiers that are activated, so our community collected all these morale goods, so I just had to drive there to drop it off.
You're such a good.
That was just we did. It was good to go drop off some energy drinks.
Yeah, good.
Because they need it down there. They need the energy drinks.
Yes, they need it, right? Well, thanks so much, Amor. I will talk to you soon. Air hugs.
Yep.
Air hugs.
Air hug.
Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thanks, Lee.
Have a great day. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.